This is a mediocre show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff, maybe we'll learn something new, but it's always about hanging out, me and you. Welcome to That Thing with James. I'm your host, James, and this is a podcast about nothing in particular. It's just vibes. It's just a hangout. Whether you're petting a pal or pounding your pud, I will be there watching you, bud. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I actually have something to share today, and it's right here in this little red plastic folder. But before we get into it, I do want to note that if you hear some background white noise, just deal with it because I've got the windows open and it's finally nice. It has been inordinately hot for so early in the year. Yeah, there's an airplane. It's been really fucking hot. And finally, we got a little bit of rain and it's cooled off a bit because of it. And the rain certainly cut the humidity. So I've got the windows open because it feels nice and because I don't want to keep running up the fucking energy bill just to try to feel slightly less uncomfortable in the heat. Anyway, so there's that. What else? Before we get into what's in that little red folder, let me share some quick news. The usual. If you want to help support the show, help support an independent artiste, and get access to bonus episodes and bonus content in general, consider becoming a Patreon or patron at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. I actually just uploaded, I'm trying it out, a special edition of the latest installment of my comedy web series, Minor Tensions. I added in a bunch of deleted scenes and outtakes, that sort of thing at the end of it. And you can get access to that. And the bonus episodes of this podcast. I'm going to be recording a bonus episode right after I record this one, this free episode. You can get access to all that stuff once again at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. The link is written in this episode's description. So too are the details for my TikTok account, which you can find at TTWJ Productions. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. My handle on both of those is at James J. Asher. You can come shitpost on my subreddit, r/ThatThingWithJames. And hold on, those fucking headphones being creaky. And you can contact me. You can reach out to me at my show email, thatthingwithjames@gmail.com. Tell me how much you love me. Or if you, got an idea for something you'd like me to talk about on this here podcast. Or maybe if you've got some work for me, reach out to me. And once again, do consider supporting the show. Patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Now, on to this mystery red folder. What's inside of it is a document that I received from a cousin a few weeks ago. And this document, well, it's an historical document, a family historical document. So let's start this way. I have grandparents. And if you're alive, you have grandparents too. Now, your grandparents may not be alive. In my case, half of my grandparents were dead before I became alive. That would be, my paternal grandparents had both passed at least a decade. One was I think 3 or almost 4 decades. No, actually 4 decades before I was born. So paternal grandparents were out of the picture by the time I was born. My maternal grandparents had both passed by the time I was 5. They were alive when I was born, but then they died by the time I was 5. So I didn't really get to know any of them. Certainly not my dad's parents, because they were dead before I became not, pre-dead. Let me take a sip of water real quick. Wet my whistle. So, oh shit, there's a wasp. Okay, I took care of the wasp, and I always feel so bad killing bugs. It's one thing to crush them. Like, it doesn't affect me as much emotionally if I just, crush a bug. But that's a bit risky when it comes to wasps because, well, they sting. So I sprayed it with some bug killer, and I watched as it struggled and choked and twitched and fell over on its back and continued twitching. I watched it suffer and then die. And that's always tough for me, but I fucking did it anyway. Nonetheless, but I'm sure that emotion that I feel watching bugs, twitch and slowly die in agony because you spray them with poison, I'm sure that emotion is nowhere near what my grandpa, my maternal grandpa, felt long before he wrote the contents of this little red folder that I have in my hand right now. Because my grandpa, my mom's dad, was in World War II. He was in the European theater, and he was at Verdun. He was at Battle of the Bulge. All the big major things you hear about in books and movies. Well, I mean, except for, say, Normandy, he was there. With the exception of Normandy, he was around for a bunch of the other shit. He was in France, he was in Germany, and he was in his motherland of Poland. Now, my grandpa, John, that's who we're talking about here. John was, I believe it's referred to as a first generation Polish American, meaning he was just barely born in America. His mom had fled, and I don't know anything about the dad, but the mom fled Poland back around, I think, 1913. So like World War I was either just breaking out or had just begun. And she was a Polish woman who spoke only Polish her entire life. And she fled Poland, and when she came to America, she had Austrian papers because, well, if you know anything about history, especially European history, you know that borders tend to be fluid, and the borders of Poland are extremely fluid. People are always fighting over that territory. So she was a Polish woman and had lived in Poland, but it had just gotten overtaken by, I guess, that wouldn't be, I don't know what fucking empire it would be. I was about to say the Ottoman Empire, but that is not correct. She came with Austrian papers, whatever the fucking empire republic it was. I can't think of it right now. And came to the U.S. and lived in a little community of Polish immigrants in New England. And then had my grandpa, John, and he was one of, I think it was at least 7 children. He was the eldest. The father was not in the picture. I don't know. I have never heard anything about great grandpa. I don't know if he had died or what, but whatever the case, John was the breadwinner. And because he was the oldest and he spoke English, and he even like went to college and everything, but up through high school and everything, he was participating and winning quite a bit in illegal well, both legal and illegal boxing circuits and getting money for his family, boxing and playing football. And he actually went to and completed college on a football scholarship, and he studied engineering. And so when World War II busted out, and that was like through the Great Depression, okay? And then World War II came, and I don't know if he enlisted or was conscripted, but he joined the army and was an engineer there. So he did stuff like going in and building bridges and, whatever infrastructure, setting up or taking down bombs and shit like that on bridges. So he would come in after, usually he would come in after these battles were done to try to build whatever the military needed at the time. And so he was in Nazi overtaken territory. And he saw a lot of horrible things that he never really talked about. So my mom would pick up on stuff here and there, and now that she's, well into adulthood, she can look back and kind of piece some more things together about random stuff that he would say or ways he would behave. Like, he would not want to go to a funeral if it was an open casket, just because he couldn't. Corpses were a very difficult thing for him to see for the rest of his life. Let's put it like that. And so sometime later, when he was an older man, I'm talking like maybe like around 70 years old, he started exploring the world by himself. He would go to various different countries. He would go to fucking Thailand, China, wherever the fuck else. And he also, his first big trip was to Europe. And he went, I believe, we'll find out once I get into this document, but I think he went there in the late 70s, early 80s maybe. And as I was reading through this, I haven't read through the entire thing, so we're going to get through this together. It occurred to me that he was going on a trip back to Poland because he was compiling a genealogy, and he wanted to, like, he kind of ran into a dead end, but he also wanted to return to his home country and find like older relatives whom he had never met, that sort of thing. And so we'll just say his genealogical research took him to Europe to go back to Poland. And there he actually found, like, he would go to old churches to find documents, be they, death or birth documents or marriage or whatever, so that he could continue filling out his family tree. And on these journeys that he took to Asia, Europe, South Pacific, he took notes and actually kept a sort of diary. He would write it and then bring it back to America and type up as much as he felt like typing. And this, the document that my cousin gave me a few weeks ago, is one of the things that he wrote. So let's get into it. I'm going to read as far as I can get. I want this to be like a 30-minute episode, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out with the time I took to slaughter a poor old wasp. But I'm going to read through this, and wherever this episode ends, we're going to stop reading there, and I'm going to continue reading in the bonus episode, okay? Oh, I just remembered what I was going to say. So during World War II, he was in Western and Central, sort of border Eastern Europe. And at that time, this was when he was there, He was in Nazi territory because, they had taken over all those areas. And then when he returned for this trip that he wrote about, it was no longer Nazi. It was now part of the USSR, which I found very interesting. The first time he was there, it was overrun by Nazis. The next time he was there, it was part of the Soviet Republic. Interesting stuff. So let's get into it. Is that okay, I have it right side up. Okay. Diary of My Trip to Eastern Europe by Grandpa John. I'll be damned. I just looked through. My camera was being a little funky, and I looked through, and it seems the video cut off right as I began reading the document. So, video viewers, I apologize. There's not going to be much to look at. I'm just going to have to put up the logo for this show and have the audio running. That's fucking annoying. That's really fucking annoying. God damn, that's annoying. I have 40 minutes of audio here altogether. Or the fucking camera showed 40 minutes, and then I pressed the stop recording button, and it started glitching out. And it seems the video only captured half of what I've recorded. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is just going to be a logo and my voice talking. Technical issue. My bad. God damn, I'm pissed off. April 24th, 1978, Monday. I left Colorado Springs at 10:30 a.m. and arrived on time in Denver. We were supposed to leave at noon, but there was some hydraulic trouble which delayed departure for 26 minutes. The plane made up this lost time by traveling at 635 miles per hour. The captain announced that we were flying the southern route. This meant we went over Richmond, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, on to Kennedy Airport. It is now 6:40 p.m. and I am writing at the gate 5 at the TWA terminal for departure of flight 800 at 7:30. It has helped that I have taken TWA from Denver to New York, but they changed to another TWA plane. At Denver, I was also given a gate pass for my New York departure, so I did not have any hassle to get that at New York. The passengers for this flight are many. The plane is the largest passenger plane. It is the one with a, quote, humped, unquote, nose, which contains a cocktail lounge for first class, passengers. This is my 4th time on this type of plane. So maybe this wasn't his first trip around, but this is one of the first he documented. Okay. My other benefit of remaining on the same airline is that at Kennedy Airport, I remained in their terminal. I did not have to take ground transportation to get to another terminal. I also converted a $20 check to Austrian money at the terminal. That cost me 70 cents, 20 shillings, $1.38 American. So I'll have to change that to some smaller denomination for tipping in Vienna. I wasn't listening to the announcement, but I perked up towards the end. I think he was talking about the order of boarding. I don't know what group I should go on. Oh well. It is 10 p.m. New York time. I have just finished brushing my teeth after a filet mignon dinner. I had a choice of 3 dinners, that, fried chicken, or baked lasagna. That was a difficult decision, since for lunch I had steak also. The movie has not started yet. They will show Goodbye Girl. All can watch this, but to listen to it, one has to pay $2.50. I know that this is not any more than at home, but I will not pay that price. Dude doesn't want to pay $250 for to be able to listen to the movie. So first thing, okay, so this is 1978. I did not know, but apparently they were showing movies on airplanes in 1978, which leads me to believe, did they have like a projector set up? That's the only way I could think they could do that in 78. Set up a projector and have a little projector screen in the airplane, which is interesting. And then for piping in the sound, well, they had headphones by then. You know, you could get pretty small headphones then too. But he was so fucking cheap. And this is a running thing we will encounter in this story. He was so fucking cheap that he didn't want to pay $250 for the on-air flight. Assuming this is all on the airplane. I think the implication here is that this is on the airplane. And it's funny, this frugality feeds into the sort of, it's sort of a theme I see or hear about with, people of a certain generation, namely those who survived the Great Depression. They were a frugal people. My maternal grandma also survived the Great Depression. From every story I've heard, she was very frugal. Like when it came to groceries, anything. You salvage what you can salvage, repair what you can repair, keep what you can keep, and just try to hold on to what you have. Even if you're well off, my maternal grandparents, they were just like middle class, like right in the middle class. But I mean, middle class is fucking, high living compared to my generation, or if you're around my age, I'm 35, compared to our generation. Middle class in the 70s is a lot different than trying to maintain middle class these days in 2023. But even my girlfriend Emily, her grandma, may she rest in peace, also survived the Great Depression. And from the stories I've heard, it's just like my maternal grandparents. Who knows what it was like for my paternal grandparents, because they were even fucking older. My namesake, my dad's dad, he was born in the 1800s. I shit you not. He was born in, it was either 1887 or 1897. One of those. Either way, dude was born in the fucking 1800s. Not my great grandpa, my grandpa, period. So I don't know what that was about. What their frugality thing was like, but I think they were pretty frugal too. They were not even middle class. They had a struggle. My dad's mom actually grew up picking cotton. No joke. Dirt floors. Like even when my dad was a kid, there were a lot of people in the area who, and I believe he had to live in a house like this for a while too. The floors inside the house were dirt. It's just the earth. Okay. Let's get back into it. Okay. The movie is not started yet. Goodbye Girl, $250 to listen to it. I will not pay that price. This is a wide-bodied plane. There are 3 seats against one side, then 4 in the middle, add 2 on either side. If I can slow down one of the flight attendants, I will ask about the capacity. So he wants to stop one of the attendants to say, how many people does this thing hold? He's an engineer too, so he's frugal and he's a huge fucking dork. Numbers guy, okay? What is the capacity? It appears that this is that it is filled to capacity. After stopping in Paris, the plane continues to Tel Aviv. From appearances, some of the passengers are continuing to the latter destination. Capacity of this plane is 267 in coach fare class and 33 in the first class. That makes for 300 passengers. The crew must be at least 10. It is 3:55 p.m. of the 25th arrival day in Vienna. Now I can relax a bit and relate the happenings as I recall. The first bag off the plane and into the pickup area was my tweed bag. About 5 minutes later, my duffel bag came. There are free carts that can be used to transport the bags. I used one. Oh, before getting to the baggage room, I went through passport check. They just looked at the book and passed me on, as the others. Then, with the cost loaded, I had the choice of 2 exits, one for declaration of items and one for not. I took the latter and said that I had nothing to declare. I was passed on. While waiting for the luggage to come, I went to the information desk and asked if I could get an inexpensive room for one night. Loud truck. The girl said that she could, but it would be a room without bath. I replied that I could go without a bath for one night. She phoned, then told me that one was available. I can't recall the total shillings she quoted, but I asked her what it was in dollars. She replied $50. Wow. I told her to forget it. So I went to the railroad for information. At the railroad, oh my God, this fucking beeping. Maybe I should close the window. Yeah. God damn it. The fucking beeping stopped before I even closed the window. Where were we? Wow. I told her to forget it, so I went on to the railroad information. At the railroad info, I was told that a train leaves tonight at 9:50 p.m., so she wrote up a ticket for me. No, wait a while. After she told me the cost of 487 shillings, $21.38, so $33.12. Was the fare for first class. The girl said I would have to change trains at a place called Pirov. She did not know where that place was. Maybe Czech? So, not C-H-E-C-K, but C-Z-E-C-H. Maybe Czech? So I went to a nearby bank and changed a $20 check. C-H-E-C-K check. Then back to pick up the ticket. There is a post office on the floor that handles packages. For stamps and telegrams, it was necessary to go upstairs. I didn't want to carry my luggage upstairs, so I left the cart in the downstairs post office. I went back upstairs to mail a telegram to Eugenia, I think one of his relatives. I had the message written on a paper. I asked what the cost would be. I didn't have enough shillings, so back to the bank to convert another $20 check. By then, I misplaced the paper with the message. I searched through my pants and jacket pocket as well as both pocketbooks. Couldn't find it. So back downstairs to get the address book from my carry-on bag. Then back upstairs I went to compose and send the telegram. I wrote in Polish, quote, arriving on 26 at 9:05 a.m., end quote, unquote. So I went back downstairs to purchase 45 cards and airmail stamps. I went to the downstairs PO desk and addressed all the cards. These were cards to his daughter's German students. That's a handwritten note there. As not my mom, but one of my aunts. As I was writing these cards, I was being bugged that maybe I didn't say enough in the telegram. The messages Didn't say the means of arrival. Bus, train, plane. So I went back to the upstairs PO and sent another telegram. I said, quote, by train from Vienna, unquote. This was an unnecessary expense, which rattled me. So this guy is paying like probably less than $1, less than a shilling, I'm sure, which is less than $1 American, to send a postcard to say, hey, I'm getting into Poland or whatever on the 5th or whatever day it was. And then he realized he didn't say how, like which station he was arriving at. So he had to send another telegram for probably less than 10 cents American to specify, oh, I'm going to be coming there by train or whatever it was. And this, he feels, was an unnecessary expense that it didn't just annoy him or irk him a little bit, it rattled him to have to pay the price of a single stamp. An extra stamp, the price thereof rattled him, in his words. Let's get through one more page, and I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to continue on in this week's bonus episode. So if you want to catch the rest of this story, become a patron today at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Let's finish this one page, okay? This was an unnecessary expense which rattled me. I returned to the girl that sold me the train ticket and said I was ready for the, quote, minibus, unquote, a VW bus to take me to the railroad station. It is some distance from the airport to the RR station, which is in the heart of downtown. On the way to the RR station, I thought I had better check on my train ticket. I looked through one pocketbook. No ticket. I looked through the other. No ticket. I looked again and again. No ticket. I exclaimed a choice word. I looked through my trouser pockets and my jacket pockets. All that I could find was a receipt for the money that I paid for the train ticket. I asked the young driver if he spoke English. A little, he replied. I explained my worry. He called on his two-way radio. I searched again. No ticket. He said the airport office was an annex of the main railroad office and that maybe something could be done to help me. I searched and researched as he was driving down. Then I wondered if I had put it on the inside jacket pocket with my visas. Eureka! I had it. So I'm at the train station with my luggage in a cart writing. Oh, I had to go to the bathroom, but I did not dare leave the luggage unattended, so I just drove the cart into the men's room and kept an eye on it as I went. I haven't checked the time difference, so I can't relate as to what time it is back home. First, I lost the telegram message. I had composed at home. Oh, I found it after I had sent the second telegram. I had put it in my shirt pocket. Speaking of shirt pocket, this is the first time I went to the bank window. The first time... The fuck is that? I think we're going to have to close this goddamn window for the bonus episode. And you know what? I think I'm going to close out this episode for now. I didn't even finish this page, but this is funny. I'm going to continue reading on. Once again, patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames if you want to hear the rest of the story. I think for the podcast going forward, until this thing's done, I'm just going to be reading through this and giving my own commentary. Thanks for tuning in. I really hope you stick around for this because it's funny as shit. I love you. I'll catch you next time. And remember, all the other details and pertinent information you may want, it's probably written in this episode's description. Love you. See you soon. Bye.